All right, everybody, welcome to Math with Grace. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pre-Algebra, Book 10. All right, it's our last book for this semester. We're finishing up, and this book is kind of a breeze. So welcome to the world of having a checking account and putting together budgets and being responsible. Now I'm just going to read through some of this real quick. A lot of this you should be just reading on your own. It's not very complicated. This is more life-based than necessarily mathematic-based, okay? Obviously, when you do a budget in a checkbook, you have to be able to add and subtract, but this is basically being responsible, keeping track of your expenses, that type of stuff. So please read through it more carefully. I'm just going to glance over some of the basic stuff. So knowing the difference between a need and a want, okay? Your clothes on your back, the house that you live in, food that you eat, those are needs, right? We need those things to survive. Pretty much everything else is a want. Those special sneakers, or a new laptop, or a new Xbox, or that special dessert. These are all wants. These aren't things we need. You can live without a dessert as long as you've eaten your dinner, right? Okay, these are all extra things, wants. We have needs and we have wants. And having good money attitude is important, okay? God has given us what he knows we need, and we are to be good stewards of that, all right? So having a good money attitude is important. So we want to make sure that we are spending our money to help others versus only spending it on ourselves. Excuse me. Okay, we want to be willing to work for money versus expecting to receive money you haven't earned, okay? You should be willing to work if you want money, right? Staying within our budget versus buying whatever you want whenever you want, all right? Everybody should have a budget. It's important to stick to your budget, or obviously there could be issues. All right, we want to spend money on our needs versus buying things we don't need. Yes, it's fun every once in a while to splurge on something frivolous or something that's just for fun, but it's more important to concentrate on buying things that we only need. That way you can save up for bigger expenses, okay? And then knowing money won't make you happy versus believing you can't be happy without it, okay? The Bible tells us that you can't serve both God and money, right? Can't love them both. You have to choose. Well, I'm hoping that you guys choose our Lord, and he will provide the things that you need. Okay, we need to be content with where we're at. So having a good money attitude is very important. So read through here, answer these questions. I know they're probably going to seem kind of silly, but it's a good thing to think about. What is your mindset when it comes to money and how it's spent? All right, so the next section is budgeting and tracking your expenses. Okay, money that you bring in, money that you earn from working or receive as a gift is called income. Expenses are money that you have to spend or that you put in savings for future use. Those are your expenses, okay? And in this story, this kid named Jacob wants to buy a calf. He wants to buy a calf and raise it and then sell it for beef, okay? But he needs to save up. First, he needs to save up the money to buy the calf. And so his dad tells him, well, let's put together a budget so you can actually see and track where your money is going. Where are you spending your money each week? So at some magical farm that he works at, he actually makes $50 a week, okay? So he brings in $50 a week in chore income. He gets paid to do chores at a farm, okay? He tithes 10%. He puts money into savings for his calf. And then this week, he bought a gift for his mother. Okay. He made a total of $50, but he spent a total of $47.62. That's not a lot left over. Okay. Week 2, he earned his $50 in chores. He tithed his $5. He saved his $30 for his calf. He had a bike expense. Okay. He broke the chain on his bike and had to get a new one. He went out for an ice cream cone. All right. savings. He didn't put anything either week in regular savings. So he made $50, but he spent $46.84. So not a lot of extra. Now, in our household, when we have savings that we do, but then whatever is extra, we put into savings as well. Maybe that's what Jacob's doing, maybe not. I don't know. Let's take a look at week 3. It's always good to have extra money in savings. Savings is always a good thing. Okay, here, this week, Jacob still worked his chores and earned his $50, but he also got $25 as a birthday gift. Okay, so adding his income together, he tithed $7.50. Okay, put $30 away for his calf, and then put money into his regular savings. Okay, he earned $75 this week, and he spent $75 this week. All right, week 4, he earned $50 doing his chores. He tithed, he calfed, he saved for his calf, he bought materials to build a birdhouse, and he gave an offering, I assume at church or whatnot, to a missionary. Okay, this week, he earned $50, but he spent $56.98. Now, that extra $6.98 has got to come from somewhere, and most likely it came from this savings money that he has right here. Okay? When you go over in your expenses, it has to come from somewhere. We should never spend more than we have available to us. That is never a good idea. Okay? So, that being said, tracking our budget, let's take a look at Sally here. She wants us to track her expenses for a month using the following information. Okay, week 1, Sally made $35. So in our income spot, we can write down that Sally made $35. Okay, here are her expenses. She tithed 10%. So to figure out what that is, we're going to take $35 times, and remember, how do we write 10% in decimal formation so that we can use it in an equation? Okay, we write it as 0.1. So if we take 35 times 0.1, we know that she tithed $3.50. Okay, next, savings. All right, well, here it says that she saved 30%. Well, so what is 30% of $35? Again, we need to write our percentage in decimal formation so we can actually use it in this problem. Okay, so 30% as a decimal is 0.3. Okay, 0.3 times 35 is $10.50. All right, now some of you may be tempted to take this $35 and subtract the tithing and then figure out the savings, but that's not what we're doing here. We're saving percentage of our income, okay? Not what's left over of our income, right? We're saving a percentage of our income. And then Sally spent $17.33 on a gift for her mother. All these people buying gifts for their mothers. I wonder where I went wrong. Anyway, so how much income did Sally make in week 1? Well, all she made was the $35, okay? What were her expenses? We add these together and we find out that she spent $31.33. All right, that's week 1. She made 35, she spent 31. Week 2. Week 2's income was $57.50. All right, Sally made $57 this week. And her expenses, again, she tithed 10%, so $57.50 times 0.1 tells us that she tithed $5.75. Okay, she saved 30%, so $57.50 times 0.3 tells us she saved $17.25. Please use your calculators. Please, I'm begging you. Use a calculator. Okay, and then she bought some dress material. She spent $25.86 on dress materials. All right, so now we just add up our totals. Our total income was $57.50. And what was our total expenses? We boop, 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 add these all up, and we figure out that she spent $48.86 that week. All right, now this continues on the next page. Week 3 and week 4, and then some questions. finish out Sally. It was Sally, right? Yep. Track Sally's expenditures for the rest of the week. And then we've got a couple of questions. All right. Lesson 3 of this book is all about writing a check. All right. And they're talking about how Daniel went out. The first page was about Daniel, and he got his own checking account, and his parents helped set him up. He needed 2 forms of identification, depending on your bank. I'm not sure what you would need. Obviously, that's something you need to look into if you're looking to start a checking account. He deposited a check. He had to order checks. The bank will give you a few checks for free that you can use, but you have to order checks and pay for them, okay? This is something you have to consider when starting a checking account. All right, then he gets home and he's watching his mother fill out a check. So we're going to go through the steps of filling out a check, and then we've got a couple over here to fill out. So step 1, write the date. Okay, the date can be written as month, day, month, year, or month spelled out. Okay, whichever one you are most comfortable with. I usually write it as month, day, year. I think that's common American style of writing the date. Okay. But I know some people write it out, spell out the name of the month, but however you want to do it, that it's legible. All of this needs to be clearly and legible. And the date goes here, right by the number 1. We write the date, and it literally says on every check I've ever seen, it says date, okay? Then we write the name of the person or the company to whom we are paying money to, okay? On your check right here, it says pay to the order of, okay? That is very typical of a check. And then you write who that check is for. And again, we want this to be legible. So if you write fast and it's messy, when you're writing a check, just slow it down a bit. We want it to be legible. The bank needs to read it. We want it to be legible. Maple Valley Christian School is who this check's being written out to, okay? Part 3 is writing the amount of the check using digits, all right? So this check is written for $325. Very neatly written, very nice digits. They make sure their decimal is in the right place and clearly visible, all right? And it goes in this little box, all right? Then we have to not only write it with digits, but the next step in step 4, in this line here that goes under the pay to line, there's just a line, and it usually ends with the word dollars, all right? Is we have to write out the amount in words. The bank checks this. They look at the number that you wrote in digits, and they read the number that you wrote in words and make sure they are the same. They want this to match this, or no bueno, all right? So we might need to go back and practice some of our number words, okay? 325 and 0 change. This is the change. 0 out of 100, okay? Because there's no change here. They wrote the 00, so someone can't mark it as 90 cents or 80 cents or whatever. 00 out of 100. And then they write this line afterwards. And that line is to show, I am done. I don't need the rest of the space. I draw a line. Some people like to make a swoosh just so it's neat. You draw a line, okay? That's step number 4. Step number 5 is this line down here. It's like a memo line or a note line, or sometimes it just says note or memo. This one says 4. And it's really just a spot for you to write what this is for. Here it says April tuition. Or, you know, if you were writing a check to Jacob for his beef, you could write Jacob's beef or Jacob's calf. Or whatever you're writing this check for, you write the information here, all right? This is just a note line, all right? Then the last part here is your signature. Now, in all of this homework, it's got these checks from different people. This one is from Stephen and Rhonda Baker, right? These are the people writing the check. This is their check. So it says Rhonda Baker here. Just sign your name. And when it's the signature part, that'll just help you practice signing your own name in cursive, okay? Please don't try to recreate Rhonda's signature. It's not worth it, all right? So you sign your check in signature, first and last name in cursive, okay? And then number 7, it says, before tearing out the check, you need to record the transaction in your check register. we'll file that off to the side for right now because we will be doing check registers in the next couple lessons. But we always want to make sure we record our check so that we have a record of actually writing it and we can balance that with our money that's available. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple of these checks here. If we look at this first check, they want us to write this check. It says, write the following checks that Rhonda used in town on April 1st of this year. Okay, well, so we know that she wrote this check on April 1st. So 4/1/2020. Now, I'm using a pencil here. Anytime you actually write a check, you should always use a pen. I'm just using a pencil because this is my workbook and I want to be able to recreate this over and over again. Okay. She picked up Steven's Sunday suit at Kelly's Dry Cleaning and the total bill was $35. Okay, so who are we making this check out to? Who are we paying? We're paying Kelly's Dry Cleaning. So neatly, we want to write Kelly's Dry Cleaning in the pay to the order of or pay to slot, okay? Kelly's Dry Cleaning. What was the next step? The next step was to write the digits of how much we're paying. Well, we're paying $35. All right. Now we have to write out in number words what we're paying on this line here. Okay. So we're paying $30-$5. And now I know on the page before this, they put, if you can see it way over here, 00-100. Personally, I don't write that way. Feel free to do the 00-100. I write no 100s and I draw my line. Okay. When I write no 100s, it just means there's no change. I just feel like that's more precise than 00/100. Okay. So there's no change here. I wrote no 100s and I draw my line. All right, the next step is filling out what is this for? Well, this is for Steven's Sunday suit, right? So we could put Steven's Sunday suit, okay? This is for Steven's Sunday suit. The final step then is to sign your check. Take your time, practice your signature with your handwriting in cursive and sign your check. All right. Let's take a look at number 2. Here we have Anna. Okay. So we're back up here. Rhonda on 4/1. These are all written on 4/1. So 4/1/2020. Okay. She took Anne for an eye exam and purchased glasses for her. Dr. McGrady's eye exam plus the new glasses totaled $158. Okay. So step after we do the date, what do we do next? Well, who are we paying? We're paying Dr. McGrady. Okay. So Dr. McGrady. All right. How much are we paying Dr. McGrady? We're paying $158. All right. Now that we have the digits written, we need to write it out in number words. 158. And now again, you could put 00-100. I write no 100s. Okay. And draw my line. What did we buy these? What are we spending $158 on? We're spending it on Anna's eye exam and glasses. Okay. We spent that money on Anna's eye exam and glasses. And then the final step for writing this check at this point, and like I said, we'll talk about the check register later, is to sign your check. So again, practice your name in cursive and sign your checks. There's a couple more checks in lesson 3 to finish and some story problems. Now go ahead and read through lesson 4. It's just some safety precautions to use when writing your checks. But I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead to lesson 5. And here in lesson 5, since we've tracked Jacob's expenses, now we're coming back to actually put together a budget. Okay, we've tracked his expenses for 1 month, right? And now we're going to sit down and look at an actual budget to say, all right, now that we can see where you're spending things, let's sit down and say, this is what needs to go where and how much needs to go to each spot. When we're setting up our budget, we want to round our numbers up, especially not for our income, but for our expenses. Obviously, you don't want to round your income up because if you're only making so much, that's what it is. But we want to round our expenses up just because we don't know what the future holds, all right? You don't know that there might not be some extra expense next month that you weren't expecting, all right? So we always round our expenses up so that we have maybe a little extra play money. And I don't mean play like to waste, but play money like there's extra money there for us to fix something that broke or replace a part that's not working. Okay, so we want to round our expenses up on the high side just so we can make sure we have enough money. So here was Jacob's previous month's expenses. You guys have done all of that in lesson, was that lesson 1 or 2? Now here's Jacob's monthly budget, okay? He is making $200 a month in income for doing his chores, okay? His expenses are tithing, which is $120, calf savings, regular savings, gifts, bicycle expenses, extra giving, and projects. And they got these numbers from here, okay? They took his expenses, or his income, and actually rounded it down. Or they didn't round it down. Remember, he makes $50 a week, but he got a gift of $25. Well, he's not going to get a gift every month, or, you know, he just isn't. He got a birthday gift. Your birthday isn't every month, so we don't want to include gifts. But he makes $50 a week, so he makes $200 a month. That's where they have his income. And everything else here, they just rounded up. Okay, he gave a little extra in tithing because he got his birthday money, but everything else here, they've rounded to make sure that he has enough money going forward. All right, so thinking of that, we're going to come over here because Sally's been listening to Jacob form his budget, and now she wants one too because, you know, budgets are the new hip thing. Okay. So using the information on the left, they want us to write a budget for Sally, rounding the expenses to the nearest $5 or $10. And remember that expenses must equal the income. Okay? And how that works is you just put extra money into savings. It's okay to not spend your full amount of income. Trust me, that's better if you don't. Okay, so she makes $220. Right? She's going to tithe $22, but remember, they want us to round, okay? So she's going to tithe $25, all right? Savings says $74.50, so let's just round that to $75. Gifts. She is going to, or she gave, when she did her budget tracking, $30 worth of gift, or $29.67 worth of gifts, so we're just going to round that to $30. Clothing, okay? She spent in her month of tracking $25.86 on clothing. So I'm going to round that down to $25. Now, this can vary. All right. Sally, maybe she would have wanted to round that up to $30. I don't know what to tell you, Sally, but I think rounding it down is better. Okay. Extra giving. Extra giving is at $20, so we'll just leave it at $20. And over here on the other page, it explains that Sally didn't have any youth group expenses, but she'd like to make sure she saves money for youth group expenses in the future. Okay, I'm going to leave that blank for now, and let's see what this adds up to and how much Sally can put towards her youth group. Okay, and then the miscellaneous was $12.76. So let's call that $15. All right. So again, her total income is going to be $220. And then we're going to pull out our calculator. And because my phone is my calculator, I got my handy schmandy watch here. So we've got $25 in tithing, $75 in savings, $30 in gifts, right? $25 in clothing, $20 of extra savings, and $15 for miscellaneous things. That gets us to $190. Okay, that's what this total is so far. So that being said, she has, whoa, sorry about that. Sally has, oh, I'm leaning on it, my bad, sorry. Sally has a total of $30 extra between this 190 and this 220. And so we can put that into her youth group expenses. And therefore, now her expenses equal $220. Now, your parents might tell you that that's not the best way to budget. And honestly, I'm right there with them, okay? I would probably give Sally half of that to go to youth group, and then the rest go back up into savings. Okay, but we can talk more about budgets, and, you know, if you are serious about working out a true budget, you know, discuss it with your parents and let them help you. Okay, so that's it for today of lesson wise. There's a couple more problems here on lesson 5, literally just a couple, 4 problems altogether for lesson 5, so it shouldn't take you long. Go ahead and work through those. Write out your checks, practice your signature, work through those story problems. And that's all we have for today, and I will see you next week.